started publishing books in 2012 when I did everything the wrong way. I learned from that way, and I started some publishing companies. In 2019, I started my first 2 magazines. Just within the last few years, we started our TV network during COVID. And just within the last few years, building those interviews and doing those relationships, you can scale so much faster. It's not necessarily what you know, it's who you know at that point. And you go out and you go help people. Then all of a sudden, your business just starts to skyrocket.
All right, guys, Dennis Postema here, and you might post me up after this. You play basketball.
There was a time, yeah. And if you can imagine, I was a center at
What?
5. Yeah, I was a 5'11" center.
So you're a little baby hook then.
Yeah, well, I mean, back then, things were different. You could go into GNC, Andro was legal.
Yeah.
So I played it pretty powerful when I was in the inside. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
These days, I'm 6'5". I feel like that's too short for a center these days.
It's
crazy.
It is crazy. It's amazing the height that's coming out.
Yeah, you need to be like 6'10" these days to be a center.
Yeah, I mean, walking through the Win right before I came here, I don't know which team it was, but I mean, I don't think there was anybody under 6'5".
Holy crap. Yeah, the USA team's looking nice, though.
Yeah.
I think they might win this.
I definitely hope so.
I was upset when they had their B team or C team on the USA team, last year, and they lost.
Yeah. And you should go out, play for the USA team.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not that good. I'll get you 10-10.
Okay.
In the Lifetime Men's League. That's about it.
There you go. Hey, that's perfect.
I know my role.
Hey, nothing wrong with that,
Yeah.
right?
But you were hooping and then 17 surgeries. I mean, we got to dive into that.
Yeah. So like everybody, I faced some adversity. Everybody's going to face adversity sometime. Fortunately for me, I had done it after I'd already faced a little bit of adversity with my brother's passing, and then also we lost a lot of horses in a fire once.
Damn.
And so 8 of them.
Holy crap.
Yeah, in 15 minutes. Yeah. So when surgery came, it was funny because I remember telling my dad, I had a conversation with him. I said, I'm paying this, and I was in the financial industry and insurance as well. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm paying this insurance every month. I never use it. Like the last time I had been to the doctor, I was 18, so it was my pediatrician, right? Mm. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, 25 years old, was diagnosed. I had C. diff, and then so I lost 58 pounds in 2 weeks.
Holy crap! What's C. diff?
C. diff is basically your body cleans out. It's a very long medical term, but C. diff is a short of it. But it clears out all the good bacteria and bad bacteria. So when you have an antibiotic, it cleans out the bacteria in your stomach. So if you're not taking probiotics. So they thought it was C. diff, which it was, but then they ended up finally, when they could get everything checked out, it ended up being ulcerative colitis.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So 58 pounds in 2 weeks. That's like 3 pounds a day you're losing.
Yeah. And you're going to the restroom 3 times an hour. So sleep isn't very good. It's a rough time, but
gosh.
I'm blessed. I can't complain. But
so the surgeries were basically, what were they like?
So I started at Cleveland Clinic. I had to have my colon removed.
Jeez.
So and then they rebuilt it, and I say they made a semicolon because they rebuilt it out of my small intestine, and I had that, and then I had an ostomy bag for 9 months, and then I was good to go then. Mm-hmm. Everything was functioning, and here I would complain a little bit, but thinking about my scars and everything else, little did I know that that's nothing compared to what could come after that.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I had plenty of, I had a couple bowel obstructions, nearly died.
Whoa.
Had to go from Defiance to Cleveland Clinic. Nobody would operate on me in Defiance. And,
how come?
A lot of complication. So there's so much, when they check out the insides, there was so much scar tissue from the other surgeries that, if you're not used to it. You think about small town versus big town. Like I remember going to Toledo, which is pretty big for our area, which is about an hour away. And they said, we've been doing this surgery, 3-4 years, and we've had really good luck. I went to Cleveland, and they were like, well, back, we've had people since 81 who have had this surgery, and their health has been good. I have 2 floors of colorectal fixing it. So the cool thing about that was the difference of where you're going.
Right.
So I was glad they took me there.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah. So it was a blessing.
Yeah, if I ever need a major surgery, I'm going to the best city possible.
Yep.
Like I'm not going to my local hometown hospital.
Yeah, you can't put a price on those things, right? That's not something you want to negotiate at that
on
time.
Health, yeah. And I used to cheap out on health. I think you can get away with it in your teenage and 20s.
Of course, yeah.
But it starts catching up with you.
we think we're invincible, and you play sports, things like that, and you're healthy, and you can get away with it. But then it does catch up with you. Yeah.
Dude, I look back now, and if I ate what I ate now when I was an athlete, oh my God, I would have been an animal. Yeah. I might have went D1.
Yeah.
For sure. I was running a mile in 4:40.
Oh my God.
Eating food from the high school cafeteria.
Wow. Yeah. Well, we don't know.
No idea.
No education in that, the health field and getting big and how we need to, protein, work out the supplements, the right supplements. We don't know unless you take self-interest, right?
Yep.
Other than that, there's no way of knowing. So I was the same way. And you think you can get away with it because you're still ripped, you're still in shape, because you're burning all those calories.
Yep. And even with the supplements, there's a game within that game because there's certain supplements that are just bad quality.
It's a very dirty game.
It's not regulated. If it's not third-party tested, I don't even buy it.
Yep.
I'll pay triple the price.
Yeah. Well, because you know what you're getting. Absolutely.
Yeah, but a lot of people's mindset is, oh, it's the cheapest one on Amazon. Buy it. 2 clicks, and there's heavy metals in it.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Crazy.
We work with a lot of supplement companies, and it's important to get a good product, and there's a lot of them that aren't.
Absolutely. You eventually became a health coach, right?
Yeah. Yep. I am a certified health coach, certified personal trainer. I have a actual certified personal trainer program. So yeah, I did that. Realistically, as an entrepreneur, you can ignore some of those things as far as health and keeping that in order. But eventually, like with my surgeries, it catches up with you. And so many entrepreneurs, we work so hard to get to a certain point, and then we end up spending all our money to get back to the healthy point.
Right.
So I've tried to pride myself in keeping health as far as like one of the front runners with what I do. And with that, I'm like, well, I might as well help other people do that as well that are entrepreneurs. So
Smart. Yeah. Entrepreneurship, you can easily neglect health.
Yep.
I remember my first few years, I've been working like 18 hours a day on my laptop, not sleeping, not socializing. Boom.
Stressing out.
Panic attack. Just collapse on the floor.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't go to the gym for years. I was weak, frail, probably like 170, 180 pounds.
And I mean, how do you feel like mindset wise? I'll bet your mindset's so clear now that you're playing ball.
Yeah, now
as well as working.
Incredible. But back then, so weak. So much confidence issues. Night and day.
Yeah. It just kills your ego.
Yeah. I had no like confidence at all. Couldn't even approach a girl. Couldn't talk to anyone about business.
Wow. And now you're just crushing it.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I think the confidence comes with the success.
Absolutely. Yep. Putting in the work, putting in the reps, and then getting your mindset right.
Yeah. I think a lot of people try to just learn it from a book, but you got to actually get out there and do some stuff.
Action is 100%. When you get anxiety or you have something that's on your mind, biggest thing is action. Just go and start doing it. Nobody wants to. I just had a conversation today about all of my wins have mainly become out of me coming out of the comfort zone. All my losses have been from me knowing that I didn't want to do something because it wasn't comfortable, and so I just didn't do it, and that was the only time I ever lose. So,
wow.
When you actually take action and you go out there and you get outside your comfort zone, because most people don't know I'm actually an introvert. But the thing is, I'm not going to sit there and stay in my comfort zone when I know what getting out of that comfort zone will do for me.
Right.
And because of that, it's been a pretty successful ride.
Yeah, I'm a huge introvert too. And most people would never know that.
Yeah.
But I can't even, I mean, I could probably public speak now, but back a few years ago, hell no.
Yeah.
I'd have a panic attack on the stage and collapse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely, but look at it now, like with the podcast.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean?
You just force yourself to do it and look at how much success came from it.
Yeah. My first few episodes were cringe, but you're not going to just be good right away.
Yep.
So
I waited 6 years before I started my original podcast. 6 years before I started my magazine. I had the idea, everything.
Damn.
Took my time. One of those things where, I want to get this perfect. I want to get that perfect. And realistically, it's never going to be perfect.
Never.
Turn
Even
on that
right
camera
now,
and go.
Yeah. There's always things you could do better. I never want to be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd be actually depressed if it was perfect.
Like you take away the natural conversation, you just, and then once you realize you're just having a conversation about what you guys do, it's just amazing what people can learn.
Exactly, yeah. But similar to you, though, I waited years, had the idea, and just, never acted on it.
And now it's just, it's an amazing podcast. So kudos to you.
Oh, thanks, bro. I've met a lot of cool people, and you've worked with a lot of cool people. I want to dive into some of these. Brian Tracy.
Yeah. So, funny story. Yeah, my first program was Brian Tracy when I was 20. So we had a marketing organization trying to recruit. And that was my first taste of personal development. And I'm so happy to this day that I started that because Brian Tracy's program. I think it was 21 something sales or something. That's what it was. And it was life-changing. So I think and then in 2013, I think I did the Spark program, 2013 or 14, with Brian Tracy. So still have that program, very good program. I would love to interview Brian because he's just, he's one of my OG original, mentors. As far as that goes.
Yeah, he goes back, right? He
Yeah.
was around when Tony Robbins was coming up.
Yeah, him, Jack Canfield, all those guys. And if you ever get a chance to talk to one of them, it's just magical.
Yeah, I was trying to get Proctor before he passed. That would have been legendary.
Yes. Oh my goodness, boy, that would have been awesome.
That's why this format's important because you're catching these people when they're at that tail end. They still have a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, and a lot of them had fought health battles and things like that, and they're fortunate to still be here. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of people dealing with health stuff, man.
Yeah.
I want to have this platform to inspire people to talk about it because there's a lot of shame. Mm-hmm. Like even when I was dealing with anxiety, I didn't want to talk about it at first. It's like as a guy, it's kind of like they see it as weak.
Yep. Yeah. That was the culture forever, right?
Yeah.
And so now at least we're starting to get around that. But the thing about the health issues is a lot of people focus, I feel, on the physical attribute, but the mental is what, gets me every time because it's the mental game of like rehabilitation and after surgery and things like that. I remember after one of my surgeries, I was thinking of Brian Tracy quotes and all these quotes of the people that I've read because, you get into some dark places.
Oh,
so, yeah. So I'm glad that there's a lot more awareness. We have to give some credit where credit's due there because we have some awareness about these things.
Yeah, the mental is huge. I think of Klay Thompson, like when you talk about that. Just dealing with those injuries and then can't play for a year, and then now he's getting all this hate on social media for like going 0 for 10 his last game.
Haters are haters,
Yeah.
There's a lot of trolls out there. Got nothing better to do than to worry about how somebody else should improve, right?
Yeah, it must be tough to be a pro athlete in the age of social media though, because every bad game you're getting on.
I can't imagine.
Like it's tough.
I couldn't imagine being. There's a whole list of things that I can imagine doing.
Yeah.
Things that I would have done as a kid, like be a coach and things like that, as far as like football or basketball. But I don't really have an interest now because of all the politics.
Yeah, for real.
And the haters, and you can't talk about, you can't make kids run, and there's just all sorts of reasons.
Coach has got to be the most stressful job out there,
I can't imagine.
especially like an NFL coach.
Oh.
You last what, like 2 years max?
yeah. And who knows what kind of therapy that takes, right?
Yeah. Bill Belichick, who's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, he recommends not to be a coach.
Yeah.
Like his kids asked him, and he said you shouldn't do it.
I believe it. I believe it. Yeah.
And he's one of the most successful coaches of all time. But you can see the stress on his body.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah. Just like, yeah.
You deal with a lot of stress these days?
I'm trying to manage it. I've been fortunate enough that I've added some really great team members. That's one of the things, when you talk about scaling and doing it right, you do so much as yourself for a very long time. You put that stress on you. You really have to hire properly. And that's not easy. So, I want to encourage people. It's something you have to work at. And
Yeah.
So, of course, I have tons of stress. But if you look at it as a blessing that you have those problems, because realistically, those problems, if you get to create the solutions, you're going to have something great come of it. It's a lot better. So, looking at stress, at how you actually see stress in your life, is it a negative or a positive? And if you see it as a positive and you turn it into, I'm fortunate enough to have these, business plans, these businesses. Maybe I should look at those as a blessing and show some gratitude, and then maybe all of a sudden that stress is actually just excitement, and now it's enthusiasm, right?
Yeah.
So I've really done some mindset shifting on that. That's really been helpful for me.
Yeah, channeling it almost in the right way. Yeah, one of the people who really helped me with my stress was Dan Martell.
Okay, awesome.
Have you heard of him?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yes,
Yeah, so he came on the show. I also read his book. And I used to do every task in the company. I would upload the videos. I would make the clips, upload the clips, do all the design, create all these questions. And, dude, it was stressful, like, because I do 15, 20 episodes a week. So it's like, working 16 hours a day. So what I learned from him was to outsource all the stuff I didn't like doing.
I love that.
And, dude, my stress went away, honestly, completely.
Yeah. Well, people want to, we all do. At first, we're like, well, if I could save a little bit of money, but if you actually analyze it and figure out, now you're doing 15, 20, you said a week, right?
Yep.
So now you're able to stay in your zone, right? You're in flow state. You're able to do that. and you're able to just crush it. And then on your free time, you're able to play basketball or whatever it is that is your coping mechanism for stress. And so if you do that properly, I learned that from Dan Locke after I listened to Dan Locke years ago, and him and I have had books and things over the years and worked together on some different things. But if you look at taking anything that you figure out what you actually monetarily produce in an hour, right? When it's just like when you're doing a podcast and you put that in there and say, okay, so anything I do under that hour, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to outsource that. So no matter what it is, whether it's dry cleaning, whether it's, whatever, lawn mowing, any of those things, if you start outsourcing those. So I designed my life as if I was a billionaire from that point on.
Nice.
Okay, so if I design my life as a billionaire, what is a billionaire going to do? Or in my mind, what is the Dennis Postema version of that going to do, right? So he's going to work out every day. So he's going to make sure that no matter what, how stressful the day is, he's going to work out because no matter what, that's my coping mechanism, right? So I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't do anything like that. So my mechanism is working out. So that's what I do. And I can tell you, my wife will oblige for this. If I don't work out, I'm probably not as fun to be around.
Wow.
I'm just, because all of that stress now, that's your output.
Right.
So,
yeah, that sauna for me is a great de-stressor.
yeah, I love it. I have basketball.
Basketball, sauna. I'm about to get a sauna for the house, man. It's such a good de-stressor.
I used to get a massage every week. That's, that was mentally, I would suggest that. I think that's one of the things that really can put you in
Yeah,
a really good
I've seen
spot.
Grant Cardone talk about how massage is like a great ROI, actually.
You just got to schedule it in like everything else, right?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
it's easy to be like, wow, do I really need a massage? Or
They
should I
do take
that?
a while. That's the one downside.
Yeah,
It's like an hour.
Yeah.
So let's talk networking and relationships because you've built up an insane network, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So when about 2019, well, I guess let me backtrack a little bit. I started publishing books in 2012 when I did everything the wrong way. So I learned from that way, and then I started some publishing companies and learned how to do it the right way. In 2019, I started my first 2 magazines, Shot Callers and To Inspire Health and Fitness. And what I realized is I had been in business then for 17 years. And I started realizing that what was happening is just within the last few years, we started our TV network during COVID. And just within the last few years, when building those interviews and doing those relationships, you can scale so much faster by building a relationship than you can by the grit. It's not necessarily what you know, it's who you know at that point. So if you've already put in the what you know work and you go out and you go help people and genuinely help people do what's their problem in their business and you help them overcome that, then all of a sudden your business just starts to skyrocket.
Absolutely.
And it's had I learned that at an early age, which I was probably too much self-esteem for me to listen to. So it would have been life-changing, but it's been everything to me. And I would suggest anybody to go out and start networking. Podcast is a great way to learn. I mean, I'm sure there's days when you do 8 people, when you like sit down with 8 people and you're just like, this is better than any education I could have.
Oh, by far.
You're just literally just in a plethora of knowledge at the end of the day.
Yeah. I've sat down with several billionaires. Like, when am I going to get that opportunity ever? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Podcasting has changed my life.
Yep. I agree 100%.
Yeah, it's one of the best networking vehicles. Plus, the group chat is insane.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
There's so many cool people in there, and I'm learning a lot just witnessing the people talking in there.
Yeah. Just sit back and watch, right?
Yeah. Everyone watching this that has a podcast, make a group chat of all your previous guests.
Yeah. I love that idea.
Yeah, the mastermind chat, man.
A lot of helpful tools in there, though, that everybody shouts out to. So thank you.
Yeah, shout out to Zalco Branson, recovering everyone's Instagram page.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, getting attention.
Yes.
A lot of people wonder how to get that. What have you seen work for you?
So, again, I learned this from the hard way, from making mistakes, right? So I did very well at building a brick and mortar business. So that was, and I was very successful with that. And then I decided when I wanted to start writing books and go national that nobody knew who I was anywhere else. And so I needed to get attention and actually build a personal brand. It's a whole different beast than just building a brick and mortar business. And so I started with books, and then I went into podcasting, magazines. Then I started the television network, to where now if you start with social media as well as now if you got a podcast, you've got a TV show, because we're really in a trust recession. So people need to be able to see you. They need to be able to learn to know, like, and trust you.
Right.
You need to be able to grow. Okay, why should I do business with Sean? Here's why. When I watch his podcast, I feel this. I know what his values are. I know where he stands on certain things. I want to do business with Sean. Those type of things. So if they can go out there and they can consume that content and truly get to know you through different avenues, whether they read about you in your book, whether they watch your TV show, whether they listen to your podcast, and then they start following you on social media, and you have all these different avenues to where you're getting attention that are all driving force to that whatever product you're selling. Because we've had that conversation quite a few times in the last few days. You can't just build it and they will come. You can have the best product in the world, and the person who can market it and gets the right attention is the one who's going to win.
Right.
So I'm not telling you to have a crappy product. I'm just saying that when you have that great product, you still have to make sure that people know about it. How do I get in front of the most people? How do I network? How do I build those relationships for who can get me to those next level?
Absolutely. Trust recession. I like that word too. Because trust does seem to be at an all-time low.
Yeah. I just learned it from my buddy John the other day. He mentioned that, and I was like, oh, that's a very good.
Yeah.
It used to be you'd create a VSL, and you put it into a funnel and you'd be good to go, right? You could just, here's my book, here's this, go ahead and buy it, and it would do good. But now everybody, they know what's coming, right? Book a sales call, book of this. So they know what's coming. So allowing them to get to know you and get to see the personal side is really effective. In my opinion.
Same with e-commerce. You used to be able to run any product, make
Absolutely.
money.
Yeah. Yep.
Now you can't even make money on the front end.
Yeah.
Like it's all back end.
Yep.
Is it like that with info and coaching products now?
I mean, in my opinion, yes. I mean, I feel that and membership sites are actually very popular now because, again, if you build a membership site that's live at least once a week, once a month, whatever you decide to do, they get a piece of you, right? So if I can talk to Dennis or I can talk to Sean, well, just like your group chat.
Yeah.
If I can get in there and I've got advice from all these different people instead of trying to figure it out on my own, it's just amazing how much you can take a quantum leap in your business by doing that.
Yeah, proximity is power because these people spent their whole lives being a master at their craft.
Yep.
And they're in a chat with you. You can just ask them questions.
It's amazing to me how many people, it's not rocket science. It's amazing to me how many people can't figure that part out. If you have somebody who's in shape, go up to them and say, hey, how did you get in shape? If somebody who's not in better shape than you tries to give you workout advice, I probably wouldn't take it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is. If somebody, and I know I've offended a lot of my team in this because, I tell them, don't take advice from somebody who's not in the position that you want to be at. So if I want to improve my podcast, I go on your podcast and I talk to you about how you've built this massive podcast, right? Because you're doing it better than I am. Why try to reinvent the wheel? Okay, Sean knows what he's doing. Why try to reinvent the wheel and just learn from the people who have already done it? So,
it goes for any industry. I did that when I started my show. I studied the top 10 shows,
And now look.
Now I'm going to be joining them soon. Yeah, I studied what guests they were having, how many clips they're posting, what questions they're asking, everything, man. You have to.
You have to.
You got to be a student in the game at all levels.
Doing the homework. I love it. Putting in those reps. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not stopping until I pass Rogan.
Hey, I love that.
Yeah, that's the GOAT right there.
There you go. I love that.
Number one for what, 10 plus years?
Boy, it's been it's been a long time.
Yeah, crazy, man.
And he doesn't look like he's going anywhere anytime soon.
No, he's just had a few really viral ones recently.
Yeah.
Terrence Howard and that other guy. I think podcasting is just getting started. People think it's saturated.
I mean, I forget what the statistics are. I think it's is it most people don't last past the 10th one?
Yeah, I think it's either 80 or 90%, and then 99% don't go to 100.
Okay.
Out of that remaining 10 to 20.
I think it might be. It's 21. It rings a bell, but either way, very few people actually put in because they think that if they do one video,
they'll get views.
Yeah.
My first one got like 50 views.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You take family and friends away, and now you're at 3, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's interesting that we see things that way.
It's interesting that we base so much of our, I don't know the word, but like just off views.
Well, yeah, and there's also a lot of showpreneurs out there. That's what I like to call them, to where they they show what's going good in their life and how they're balling or whatever it may be. But realistically, entrepreneurship is hard, and you have to put in the work. Anybody who's been in it for a while, your first podcast wasn't a success, probably.
No.
Right. So my first, however many years in business, it was pure hell.
Yeah.
Trying to build that out. So I tell everybody now, I'm a 22-year overnight success. So knowing that and putting in that work, I think those are things that need to be a little bit of light shined on so that people don't fail so quick, or understand that it's going to get dark before it gets pretty.
Yeah.
Right? It's darkest right before the dawn. And you'll see that in business.
Yeah. I think my first 4 or 5 years, I was making $50K a year, and it was 16 hours a day for 7 days a week, no vacations.
Yep.
So people watching this, are you willing to do that?
Yeah.
You know, those first 5 years.
Yep.
And that was me without a mentor. So like you, I made that mistake.
Sure.
And no proximity to other people. So maybe you could do it in shorter time.
Yeah.
But that's what I did. I mean, you probably did something similar too.
Very similar. And the thing is you have to take that advice. You have to be coachable. So I was fortunate when I started in business that I was fortunate I had a mentor at 20. And my dad had been teaching me business because he managed a machine shop for quite a few years. And so I'd been learning business because I'd worked there for 5 years, and he'd bring me in on different things. And at 20, when I got laid off, I had a mentor, Roger.
Your dad laid you off?
Well, there was no work.
Oh.
I was the last person to get laid off. So he ended up buying that business and starting it.
Got it.
So he was a manager there, and then he ended up buying it. Now he's been in financial planning, worked with me for a long time, very successful. Could retire at any time, 72, still hasn't.
I don't believe in retirement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's just living the dream, right?
I mean, your brain just deteriorates after you retire.
Yeah, we work with a lot of people who are retired, and you know how many people after they retire, they just sit down, vegetate, and it's just a matter of
It's been
time.
a few years.
Yeah, if you stay active, whatever that is for you, you get your mental game going, and you're able to. Yeah, but you're right. I can tell you that he's still sharp as ever, 72, just by staying in it.
I love it.
And does he need to do it? No, but I mean, he loves what he does. He gets to go on vacations. I mean, it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I love what I do right now. Yeah, that's the secret right there.
That's exactly right. Yeah, because you don't have to retire when you're doing what you love.
Nope. No, this isn't even work for me. We're having conversation. This is fun.
Absolutely. Get to talk all day. Yeah.
But I think I asked you about being coachable.
Yeah.
We got off topic. But
Yeah, sorry about that. So my mentor at 20, the good thing about that was with being an introvert, my mentor told me, he showed me one of his 1099s, and it was extremely huge.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Oh, would you like to make that kind of money?" I said, "Absolutely." He goes, "You want to know how?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "Shut up and listen." And I was like, "Okay, I can do that." I was 20 years old. Why wouldn't I, right? This guy's, if he just showed me, he just proved to me he's doing this. And that was probably one of the most valuable things that I learned, because I was too ignorant to think that I knew how to do it myself in a better way. I had no bad habits. And so if he told me to do something, I did it. So we worked from 9 till 7. And that was, we started out in the field at 9 a.m. and we worked till 7 at night. And you didn't stop before 7. Yeah, exactly. So 6:53, that means you had another sales call to go on.
Wow.
And I can't tell you how appreciative I am from that grit that I learned, because then it's just normal, And now we try to install that in people who we start training, and come 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, they're like, "Well, it's almost quitting time," and I'm like, "Yeah, you've only been doing this for 2 years, and you're quitting before 4:30, 5 o'clock." I said, "Well, I mean that's you, but the good thing about if you put it in early, you get to reap the rewards later."
Right. Now we could work 4 hours a week if we want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you adjust it exactly how you want, and you've developed that knowledge and that customer base, whatever it may be, to allow you to do those things. So,
Yeah. We could vacation whenever we want. You just got to sacrifice it up front.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way I saw it at the time, too.
Yeah.
Plus, I wasn't dating anyone at the time. I felt like that was the right time to really go all in.
Yeah. I love it, man.
Yeah. It's tougher when you got kids and stuff.
Yep. Yep. And I said that I waited all the years of entrepreneurship to have kids later on. That was my path that I wanted to do. I wanted to have my finances right.
Yeah.
But realistically, because of my surgeries, my testosterone was so low that I had to, really go through and do IVF anyway for my wife and I.
Wow.
And my kids. So
Holy crap.
Yeah,
It was that low?
yeah. So finally, I think 1% of
Damn, so you were
what
like 100
what I've
probably.
got going on is workable. And
Holy crap.
fortunately, I have the most beautiful daughter in the world. So,
Amazing.
And I have 8 more that I
What?
can unleash if I want to.
Damn.
So they're all ladies too. So I don't know.
You're a
We'll
little,
see. We're probably gonna have 1 more, maybe 2.
Okay.
But hey, maybe 2 for sure. But we'll see about that.
Got a little Elon Musk going on.
Yeah,
Here. You got 11.
yeah. They're not born. They're just embryos right now.
Oh, wow. So they just stock them up just in case something happens to them?
Yep. Yep. So the way that works is because you don't know, like, if you have low testosterone and problems with that area. Because I had, again, with my surgeries, I'm blessed that I was able to have children, first of all. And the fact that I was awesome because having that first child, it changed my entire meaning of life. So,
Wow.
yeah, they stock them up for you and they build the embryo because, you know, you don't know if I'm at 1%. Where am I going to be at 2 years from now? I mean, you know, I'm getting older. So
Right.
obviously age doesn't matter in men, but surgeries do and health does. So
Yeah.
I'm very blessed in that.
Well, now there's new studies on the health of the men affecting the kid.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah.
What are they finding out?
Just like the quality of sperm is really affected by age, activity level, like
That
what
makes-
the guy's put in their body.
Yeah.
But it was previously thought like miscarriages were mainly from the woman.
Really?
Yeah. But my most viral clip on Instagram is about how it's mainly from the men.
Yeah.
30 million views.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I believe it. We did all that blaming for all those times. Same thing for me, you know, thinking that, oh, well, it can't possibly be me, right? You know, that's what we think as men. It can't possibly
Right.
be us that are the problem. And fortunately, once you start looking at it and you realize that you probably are the problem, then you can move forward and something great can come of it.
Yeah, you got to put the ego to the side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had battles with that, man. Because of social media and like people put you on a pedestal for having followers, it's easy to get
Yep.
caught up in those compliments, start hyping yourself up too much.
It is very easy to get. I mean, you seem extremely humble for as many views and as many people who really appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, it's a conscious effort though, because I have to constantly fight it off.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's
I'm
it's
sure.
like a daily thing.
It's probably one of those things. It's a daily ritual that's not going to go away.
Yeah.
as
I mean,
long
same
as-
for you though, with all your revenue and connections. I'm sure people hype you up all the time.
It's very hard to stay grounded and remember all the things you had to do and all the hard work you had to get in to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what's next for you, man? I know you got the magazine. I'm coming on your show Monday.
Yeah. So next we're starting to do live events. So people who do, we can do pay-per-view style events. So if you have a live event that you're putting on for personal development coaches, we can do a pay-per-view style. We can do a virtual event for that, and then we can chop it up and make it into a series. We can do things like that on our television network. We're really focusing on getting our television network. We want to be the Netflix of personal development. So we really want to be able to have a place where people can go in there, they can watch, they can learn. It's free for the subscription, so they can go on there and I can learn on how to start a podcast. You know, what's XYZ doing? How did they build it? How did they build their fitness business? All these things. So it's very educational, and it's all on one platform. So it's all on our Motivation Success TV app to where you can go in and do that. And it's really good because the way I see it is if a 16-year-old wants to start a business, they can do it. And they can earn enough revenue to get up to, okay, well, I love how Sean does his podcast. Well, let me look on the host section. So they click on your name, they check out your host section, and then they go, okay, well, Sean has this product that I could learn more. So now they've earned 100K, whatever it may be. And now they can buy your first product. And now they're like, well, okay, now I'm doing this. Maybe I can get coached by Sean. Maybe I can do one-on-ones with Sean. Maybe I can do, and then you just build it up to where we're creating entrepreneurs and creating business leaders the right way. And they don't have to pay an arm and a leg from the get-go to do it. So, and
Love it.
Yeah.
Where can people watch the platform at?
So Motivation Success TV can be downloaded. The app can be downloaded and seen on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, and then we rip the audio, put it on all 15 other platforms that we have.
Nice.
And yeah, so it's pretty cool. So they send in their video, the hosts send in their video, and we turn around and rip the audio out of it, and we do the entire thing for them. And do a weekly TV show, weekly podcast, or you can do it daily if you wanted. You know, if you're ambitious, go for it.
I love it. That's cool, man. We'll link it below. Anything else you want to close off with?
I just want to say, come check us out at Motivation Success TV. Download the app, and we want to help as many people as we can. Read the magazines. We have 7 more magazines that we're actually releasing soon.
Wow.
Yeah, between fitness and entrepreneurship and branding. So
Nice.
we really want to make a difference for entrepreneurs. We really want to be able to help them and take them to the next level.
Cool.
And create multiple streams of income for them.
Yeah, guys, check it out. Holding up your shot callers. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll link everything below. See you tomorrow.
Thanks.